Hello friends, and welcome to MTG River King. Welcome to the second episode of Uncommonly Common. Zendikar Rising is just around the corner, and with a full preview of the cards being released not long ago, it's time to look at the top 10 uncommon/common for Commander. So without further ado, at number 10, we have Tuk Tuk Rabblefort. Tuk Tuk Rabblefort is a 0/3 wall with Defender and Reach that costs 2 and red, and it reads, creatures you control have haste. Now haste is one of the best keywords in Commander, especially in the right deck, and those decks tend to have red in their color. At number 9, we have Demon's Disciple. Demon's Disciple is a 3/1 human cleric that costs 2 and black, and it reads, when Demon's Disciple enters the battlefield, each player sacrifices a creature or planeswalker. Now Plaguecrafter remains the better of the two, but a second Plaguecrafter is always welcome, especially in the right deck. At number 8, we have Vastwood Surge. So Vastwood Surge is a green sorcery that costs 3 and green, and it has Kicker 4, and it reads, search your library for up to 2 basic land cards, put them onto the battlefield tapped, then shuffle your library. If this spell was kicked, put 2+1/+1 counters on each creature you control. Now this card is another better version of Explosive Vegetation. This card is also good because it gives you the option to do something other than ramp, which is really useful when you drew this card late game. So please watch my video called Is Migration Path Better Than Skyshroud Claim to check out the other cards that are similar to Vastwood Surge. At number 7, we have Feed the Swarm. Feed the Swarm is a black sorcery that costs 1 in black, and it reads, destroy target creature or enchantment an opponent controls. You lose life equal to that permanent's converted mana cost. Now most black removal spells target creatures only, but Feed the Swarm gives you the option to destroy an enchantment, an interaction that is very rare in black. Although at the cost of life, this card remains really good in Commander. At number 6, we have Ruin Crab. Ruin Crab is a 0/3 crab that costs a blue and has landfall. So whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, each opponent mills 3 cards. Although mill is a less popular strategy in Commander, landfall is however pretty relevant, especially with the release of Zendikar Rising. Now this card is a lot better than Hedron Crab, as Ruin Crab mills each opponent and is a 0/3. Now expect the price of this card to go up. At number 5, we have Roiling Growth. Roiling Growth is a green instant that costs 2 and green and reads, sacrifice a land. Search your library for up to 2 basic land cards, put them onto the battlefield tapped, then shuffle your library. This card is similar to Harrow, and this card works really well with the landfall mechanic. At number 4, we have Malakir Rebirth. Now Malakir Rebirth is a black instant that costs black and reads, choose target creature, you lose 2 life. Until end of turn, that creature gains, when this creature dies, return it to the battlefield tapped under its owner's control. Now a 1 mana instant creature protection, what else could you ask for? It's also a model double-faced cards, a new mechanic from Zendikar Rising which gives you the option to play Malakir Mire instead of casting Malakir Rebirth if you are short on land. At number 3, we have Murasa Rootgrazer. Murasa Rootgrazer is a 2/3 beast that has vigilance and costs green and white, and has tap, you may put a basic land card from your hand onto the battlefield, and tap, return target basic land you control to its owner's hand. Now this card is so good, it's low on CMC, it has vigilance which comes in handy because both of its abilities require tapping. Now every inch of this card screams landfall. It lets you put lands onto the battlefield, landfall trigger. And it lets you return lands to your hand so you can play or put them onto the battlefield for more landfall shenanigans. And number 2, we have Cleansing Wildfire. Cleansing Wildfire is a red sorcery that costs 1 in red, and it reads, destroy target land. Each controller may search their library for a basic land card, put it onto the battlefield tapped, then shuffle their library, draw a card. Now, destroying lands is generally considered a taboo in Commander because the joy in playing Magic the Gathering is casting spells, and in order to cast spells, you need lands. So destroying your opponent's lands takes the fun out of it. But this card replaces the destroyed land with a basic land. So the main idea for this card is to get rid of problematic lands like Gaia's Cradle, Urborg, Cabal Coffers, etc., and not to prevent your opponents from playing Magic. So I'm hoping that this card doesn't gather much hate, as the card is strategic and not just another land destruction spell. Now also, as a bonus, it lets you draw a card. And now for the number one spot, we have Litform Blight. Now Litform Blight is an enchantment aura that costs 1 in black, and it reads Enchant Land. When Litform Blight enters the battlefield, draw a card. Enchanted Land loses all land types and abilities and has tap, add colorless, and tap, pay 1 life, add 1 mana of any color. This card is basically, it makes your land a pain land, like, Underground River and Caves of Coilers, but better because it taps for any color. Now this card is so good as it helps with mana fixing at a very low cost of 2 CMC, and also it lets you draw a card. So that's my top 10 uncommons / commons from Zendikar Rising set. I hope that you found that video helpful. And thank you friends for watching. This is Ray of MTG River King signing off.